Welcome back to Eat Sleep Sixers. If you watch the game or lack thereof, you will see that we lost to Miami. Wasn't even close. Blowout game tonight. Uh, for like the Sixers mentally checked out for the playoffs. I was just telling BG, wasn't really out there tonight. And Miami outdid us in every instance of basketball tonight. We didn't beat them in one category tonight. And usually, a game like that, you're just not going to win. Once again, the bench was underwhelming. The supporting cast was underwhelming. And overall, the team was underwhelming. Did not come prepared to play tonight. It's basically how I'm feeling. BG, talk.
No,
What are you pouting? Come on.
dog. I told you, man. You be downplaying these teams, dog. You be
I don't.
disregarding.
I
You
don't.
did. You said we not worried about them. Like, what do you mean
I,
we
s-
not worried about them? Dog, for 3 straight seasons, these dudes have played zone against us, and we have yet to figure it out. For 3 straight seasons, they played 2-3 against the Philadelphia 76ers, and we never have figured it out. And you know what us figuring it out is? Oh, how about we play 2-3? Maybe we play 2-3, it'd be different. Like, that shit don't change our offense.
can I ask you a
It's
question?
so annoying.
Do you think the Sixers showed up tonight?
Yes,
I don't think so.
bro.
I don't think so. I
Bro,
don't think so.
what was different? Tell me the
It was
difference.
everybody played uninspired basketball.
Tell me what was the difference. At what point though? At what point do you think before the game they melded in?
Before the game,
Before the
before the
game they
tip
melded
off,
in. Before the game they melded in.
before
Listen,
the tip
Carl.
off,
Before the
bro.
game they melded in, but the first quarter was exactly the first quarter we always see. 41 points for the other team, 30 for us. Every game. So it was no difference. You can't say they didn't show up. They played the way they play. It's just they don't know how to play against the 2-3. Point blank. They cannot play against the 2-3. You would think, oh, the shooter's going to show out tonight because in the zone, that's who get hot.
That's
Shooters
who get
put a
hot.
man in the middle. Nope, not the Sixers. Every time we play Miami, they play 2-3. I don't know why this is such a surprise,
I mean, the
why
clip.
we don't have a game plan against the zone, but they have played zone against us for 3 straight seasons, and we still haven't figured it out.
The man who would go off in a 2-3 defense was not in tonight. Our best floor stretcher, our best 3-point shooter, Tyrese Maxey. I think that hurt. But outside of him, who would you consider a shooter on our team?
George Niang, James Harden, DeAnthony Melton, Tobias
Mm,
Harris, like they all can
mm.
hit shots. They just don't
They
hit shots.
can, they can. You
They
know what I
all
mean?
shoot very. They all shoot
Who's
pretty good percentage from three.
Maxi is the shooter on the team. You know what I mean?
Maxi is the shooter, just like Steph shooter. That
Yeah,
don't mean Jordan Poole can't shoot. Like we
I just
can't.
don't. I don't think we have enough consistent shot makers. I don't think we have enough consistent shot makers, and that's been all season. That's been all season. We've had stretches where we've been hot, but more stretches than we've been cold shooting. Um, the supporting cast worries me. I can't lie about that. Not just speaking on this game, speaking on a number of games. The lack of supporting cast bothers me, especially for the playoffs, where Embiid is going to see more strategic plans against him defensively than he's probably ever seen this year. Coaches are really going to cook up game plans. They're going to watch tape from all season and find ways to make things uncomfortable. And what's after that bothers me. You know, it bothers me. The ISO ball a lot, like people are saying, it doesn't bode well when you're not hitting shots and you're not making plays. And then you have no ball movement to fall back on. Bothers me. So if you haven't tell yet, I'm bothered, you know, by a number of things. The
Bro,
lack of rebounding.
bro, I feel like we're the only team in the NBA that don't have an extra guy that can score 20.
True.
Like I'm gonna just go down. Let me just go down the East real quick. So you got Milwaukee,
Uh-huh.
extra guy that can score 20, Bobby Portis. Then
Hmm.
you got Boston, extra guy that can score 20, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, guys like that. Then you
Hmm.
got us. No extra guy. So when I say extra guy, I mean, hey, we know Maxi, we know Harden, we know Embiid, we know we getting out those guys. Our next extra guy is Tobias, and uh, does he
We
score
don't know
20
what we're
ever?
getting from him.
So
Right.
let me finish it off though. The Knicks just had 3 random dudes score 30 in the same game. Quentin Grimes, Isaiah Quickly, and I forget who the third one was. All 3 of them scored 30 in the same game. When has a role player scored 30 for the Sixers? Ever.
Right. Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Then you got Brooklyn. They got a couple of extra. Spencer Dinwiddie can get you 20. I'm just going outside of the stars of the team, just the extras that can score 20.
I mean,
Then you got obviously Miami. Tyler Hero can score 20.
I think
Chicago. Like every team has a
every team
guy
has one.
who can come off the bench and give you some. Dog, we don't have nobody outside. Dog, me and my brother was talking the other day, dog. We was like, dog, this
Mhm.
shit is sad, dog. It feel like Embiid out there by himself. Like I feel sorry for the big fella sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes he can get a little selfish
But
and he
this,
can
this,
play iso
hey,
ball
hey,
game.
BG, not to cut you off, but I'm looking at the box score, right? This is what I mean about uninspired basketball, right? When guys aren't putting up their usual stats. James Harden, 14 points, 4 assists. When did you hear that this year? Like, when did you hear that this year? At all.
They gotta make
D'Anthony
shot. They
Melton,
gotta make shots though. I wouldn't even put that
D'Anthony
all the way on
Melton,
Harden.
D'Anthony Melton, 21 minutes, 3 points. Like he was a start. He was the starting two guard tonight. You know, and you can go down and down. Where the fuck is PJ at? PJ, 3 boards, 2 points, 22 minutes. You know what I'm saying? The guys who are in the double digits were in garbage time mainly, and Shake Milton, who had a double double tonight at 10 assists, 11 points, and McDaniels. And next to him was Korkmaz in garbage time with 8 points. What type of game we're having when we're mentioning Korkmaz? You know, among it's just it's bothersome. The bench hasn't put together the supporting cast has not put together enough games for me to feel comfortable going into these playoffs. Now, like you said before, Brooklyn ain't sweet. Brooklyn ain't sweet.
I told you. Remember what I told you when they traded KD? Not. I'm not calling you out by no means, Carl. Not at
You
all.
did. It's the second time you're doing
No,
it to
no,
show.
I'm
So
not calling you
go
out.
ahead.
I'm just
Go
saying
ahead.
this is what
Call me out. Call me
I'm
out.
just saying this is what you said. You said, well, that team up Brooklyn, they about to fall all the way off. But I said, no, they got some players in that trade. They lost the best player on a team. They lost the second best player on the team, but they added some really good players that I was like, yo, Brooklyn not gonna fall all the way off. And as you
Right.
can see, they holding the 6th seed right now. Like it, it just baffles me, man, that the inconsistency of this team outside of Joel Embiid, everybody is a night to night player. Every single player is like, well, hopefully, like it's getting to the point now where our over under segment is a hope and a prayer. Over under, some of them should be locks. The only thing, you know what? Next game, I might as well do all 4 over unders be Embiid because that's the only thing that we could count on is Embiid stats. Like, there's no telling what we're gonna get out of some of these players, and it's sickening to me, man. Like it really makes me mad. Am I down thinking we still can't compete for a championship? I do still think we can compete for a championship this year. But damn it, can my big guy get some help? Can y'all make some shots? Doc, can you just go over how to beat a 2-3 zone one time before we play Miami again? Next time we
I
play
mean,
Miami, if we
BG,
surprised by the 2-3, Doc need to go.
BG, BG, you played ball a little bit longer than I've been playing ball because you're older than me, but like a lot. Um, weren't you taught how to be? Weren't you taught how to beat the 2-3 in middle school?
That's what's crazy. It's a zone,
What?
yo. It's just a zone. It's
What?
just a zone. I
Ball
would
movement,
feast on that, dog.
setting the pick,
Put Embiid at
put
the
a
free
big
throw.
at the
Put
top.
put B,
Yeah.
Embiid at the free throw line. Put Tobias in the dunker spot, and shooters be ready when the ball. Keep the ball moving. The dribble is not beating the zone. A screen and roll is not beating the zone. Like it's just not. I'm sorry,
Well, you know what
especially with the
Harden
most
said?
athletic players in the world.
Harden said something that was very interesting to the press last game after PJ had his season performance. He said where PJ is on the court has been a frustration for the team all season. Now, he suggested in that last play that Tobias moved to the dunker spot and PJ go out to the corner, which is putting Tobias, which I think, in a comfortable position for him. You know what I mean? More comfortable than out there at that three.
I don't
Maybe
know if Tobias is comfortable anywhere on the court anymore. I just don't. I just don't know. Like I said it last game, dog. He is bagless. Like he don't have a bag. Like he just a basketball player. Like I'm not saying he trash. I would never disrespect that man and say that. He not trash, but he just don't have a bag. It's like I don't know, man. We got to
yeah,
figure something out. Like, bro, I said it a million times, yo. We won a lot of
that's true.
games simply because we had the best player in the NBA. We won a lot of games this year simply because Joel Embiid is the best player in the NBA this year. Simply because Tyrese Maxey will get hot or James Harden will keep the ball, keep guys involved. We haven't won a game that we out hustled somebody. We haven't won a game that we won the 50-50 balls. We haven't won a game because because of coaching decisions. We've literally won a lot of games simply off of talent. That shit ain't gonna cut it in the playoffs, dog. It's
No, it's
not.
not. It's
It's
not.
not gonna cut it in the playoffs.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. To say we got our work cut out for us would be an understatement. It needs to be some hard nose
I like this.
practices.
I like fill in the blank questions. Makes me
Let's
think
do
of
it. Let's do it.
it makes me think of partner interruption. Partner interruption got a little spot that they do this. Go ahead, Carl.
Coach needs to adjust on the fly. This has been a knock on him his whole career. When a team is doing something to you, I can't even say that you couldn't foresee because they, like you said, they've been playing the same defense on us, the same defense on us for the last 3 years or so.
Three
And,
straight years, dog. They've been playing
and
zone against us, dog.
at first, it was okay. They're doing it because we got Ben Simmons, dollar in a jar, and they know he's not going to shoot and things like that. But now you have two capable guards who can knock down shots, and we're oh god. Listen, listen. I don't want people to, mistake. In my opinion, I feel like Doc has had a solid season this year. I feel like Doc has had a solid season. Yeah, it's been some games I feel like we should have had. I feel like he blew a couple games just on bad decisions, but way less than years before, where I felt like, you know what I mean, he's not making the proper adjustments. Certain games this year has been on the team as a whole. Guys knocking down shots. Doc can't knock down the shots for him. He can't knock down the shots
But
for him.
like I said, I could flip that on you and say, what about the wins? The wins are also a lot of the times. I'm not saying Doc hasn't had a game all year. I'm not saying that. But a lot of times we're winning because of talent. We're winning because of Embiid. We're winning because of Maxi. Like we're winning because of the players. I'm waiting for a game that I'm like, yo, Doc really just flipped the script and changed. Like he just don't beat it. But for my coach needs to, my personal opinion, coach needs to coach the Sixers and not just Tyrese Maxey. When's the last time you seen him yell at Joel Embiid? I don't think I've ever been seen him have a conversation with James Harden. But every 5 seconds, he yelling at Maxey for something.
But you know what? I will say at that, and
Coach the team, not
I do
just
know,
Maxey.
I do notice that as well. But that's why I think Doc knows his weaknesses as a coach, and that's why he's assembled the staff he has with potential head coaches. Sam Cassell handles Harden, from what I see. He handles Harden. I don't see nobody talk to Embiid really,
You
like
know,
pull him to the side.
you know what NBA players do when they have a weakness?
They work on it.
They work on their weakness.
Right, right.
We're not giving him this much Doc Rivers that much money to say hire some people to work on your weaknesses. Be better.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like what the fuck you mean?
It's hard for me to
Miami small front line. Y and B post.
Why
I don't. I don't
isn't
get the
why
question.
isn't MB in the post? Miami has a small front line. Why wasn't MB in the post most of the game?
It is very hard. It is very difficult to get the ball into the low block against a 2-3. The correct
Yeah,
way to attack that was to put Embiid at the free throw line. You put your big at the free throw line, and you put another guy on the baseline extended. So it was the right way to do it, but we just didn't do it. Embiid wasn't gonna get isos on the block tonight. He just wasn't. It never was gonna happen against Miami. Miami. If you watch every Miami game for the last 3 years, go back. We got at least 9 of them, to include playoff games. You'll very rarely see Embiid with an ISO post up. You will not see it because they play 2-3. As long as they play 2-3, he can't do what he wants on the block. He can't do what he wants on the block.
this is a good question. Something I've marveled at myself. Why is it that we're the only team that have the most inconsistent shooters every year? We can't rely on nobody. Why is that, BJ?
You asking me?
I feel like
I can't say the answer I want to say because I'm not in the NBA.
I feel like
Because
you
if I
know.
say it, it's gonna sound disrespectful, and I can't. I'm good, but I can't beat nobody in the league. If you're in the league, you could beat me. So I can't say what I want to say. But it's just ridiculous. Like, it's sad how bad our shooting has been for the last 15 years, outside of the JJ Redick years and the Marco Bellinelli years and Ilyasova. I like the Ilyasova. Outside of them three, who's ever been a consistent shooter for the Sixers in the last 15 seasons?
Well, RJ, you just answered it right here, brother. Player development. You can make a case for Shake Milton, who was a pretty solid shooter, for some years here, almost 40% from 3 point land. He's regressed. You could go to Korkmaz, who was a European guy, shooting 40%. He's regressed. You know what I'm saying? Guys that we brought up under our
Have they
wing,
have they regressed, Carl, or do they not play?
they don't play because they've regressed.
I don't know. Because guess what? A guy, ooh, Prophet just took the words out my mouth. A guy who literally never got in the game is
Is
one of the
leading the
best
league.
3-point shooters in the
Yes.
fucking league.
Yes. Who I had a
When
whole
you don't
segment.
play, it might look like you regressed, but you just don't play.
Who
We don't know
who's
what Korkmaz can be if he played consistent. We don't know. We joke about Korkmaz on this show a lot. Jenny hates Korkmaz, but we legit have no clue what kind of player Korkmaz is on April 6, 2023. We
I
don't
mean,
know who he is. We don't.
I've said it. I've said it time and time again. And y'all mock me on the show about it, you know. And a team where we're lacking someone who could stretch the floor outside of Maxi, it boggles my mind that you don't have Court Mize at least work them in mid season to see what he can do, to see if he learned his lesson from losing his position and minutes on the bench. You just totally bent somebody who's capable of knocking down threes, boggles my mind, bro.
Especially in a game like this. This is the type of game that shooters need to be on the floor. Like, I just I don't get it, man. I don't get it. We are not
Yeah.
lacking stretchers, Carl. I think we are. Like, I think. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Everybody in the NBA can stretch the floor. It's just a matter of, can they do it consistently. If you can't do
Uh,
it consistently, then what? Why would I
hey,
guard you if you're making 3 out of 25 threes?
answer this question for me, right? 24 seconds to go. We got to hit a three to win the game. Harden is bringing the ball up. Maxi is covered. Who are you passing the ball to knock
You know,
down that
you
three?
you know what's sad? My answer would be Joel Embiid, our center.
And that's
That's
crazy.
sad.
That's crazy.
That is sad.
And you know what? It's sad on a number of fronts because it's sad, number one, because that's your big man. You ideally want him under the rim to get you an offensive rebound so you could kick it back out. On another hand, why isn't your 4-3 two. You know what I'm saying? Capable of hitting, not two, because Maxi's been doing his thing this year.
this is the most true statement in history, Kane. Everybody on our team is good. We have a good roster. But that word in the middle of that statement that you just put, inconsistent. D'Anthony Melton could score 20 points and then score 3. George Niang can score 15 points and then score 0.
Mm-hmm.
Tobias Harris can score between 1 and 20. I don't even want to put up and down. He can score either between 1 and 20. It's just so inconsistent. I don't know how these dudes keep up with their average, because there's nothing that they do that's consistent on this team outside of Joel Embiid. We've had games where Harden stunk it up. Just yesterday, just 2 games. I mean, a game ago, Maxey only had 5. Tobias had 5. Niang had 0. McDaniels had 0. Shake don't play. This is the most inconsistent team. I think this is the most talented team, the most championship ready team, / the most inconsistent team we've ever had. At least the losing teams was consistent. They was consistently trash.
Hey,
the process years was consistent. It was consistent, the same thing. We knew what we were getting. We knew exactly what we were getting. Covington had the same game he always had. TJ McConnell had the same game he always, all those guys had the same games every game. This team has so much talent, but never can all put it together at the same time, or can only do it once in a while.
You want to know what's the problem?
Me?
No.
I thought you was playing me. I'm about to say, damn, what I do?
If you look at most of the great teams in the league, they all have a rhythm or a pace they play at. We don't.
They call plays.
We don't.
They call timeouts. They call timeouts when teams is on 14-0 runs.
They move. They move without the ball. They move.
Cut. Everything that's just basketball, Carl. Just basketball. Other teams do at such a higher clip than us. It's so crazy.
I said it last night. BG.
We win off talent, dog.
I said it last night. Embiid cannot score 50 every game. These guys cannot get used to that, man. The other points has to come from other places, and people have to start feeling the burden of that. They're too relaxed with Embiid got the scoring part. Let me, no, bro, no, he don't. No, he don't.
But with this roster, he do.
I mean, he averages 33 points a game, the highest points in the league, bro. But
back-to-back scoring champ.
Back-to-back scoring champs. But you got 60, 70 more points you got to get. Where they coming from on a night-to-night basis?
I have Maxey.
Harden is good for 17, 18 points tonight. I give him that.
Maxey 21, 22. Outside of that, you can't give me, I guarantee you couldn't guess how many points Tobias gonna have next game. You can't guess how many points George Niang's gonna have next game. You might can guess PJ because it's gonna be between 2 and 3.
2 and 4.
D'Anthony Melton, you can't guess how many points they're gonna give us next game. Because it's a big old roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. Roller coaster.
I think with a team like that, don't get me wrong, he fills a void on this team. He's an excellent role player. He's had great success in this league. But a signing like PJ Tucker and inserting him into the starting lineup, I think, you needed something more in this starting lineup offensively. You needed something more.
Did you hear? I think Van Gundy was just talking out his ass. But did you hear what Van Gundy said? He was like, "Yeah, I've talked to people, and they plan on signing PJ for even longer because they like his fit with Joel Embiid." I said, "For longer? The motherfucker 38." What you talking? Yeah, you could tell. You could tell Van Gundy was just talking. He said, "Yeah, the people I'm hearing, they say they love the pairing of him and Joel Embiid, so they want to sign him to something more long term." I'm like, "More long term? We get this man 3 years and he's 38. We better not sign him man to nothing more long term."
Another player I want to speak of, D'Anthony Melton. He's been solid the majority of the year, you know. But that little situation with him and Maxie when they swapped spots, I think it threw him off kilter. And he hasn't been the same since. We used to get a consistent performance out of him off that bench. Beginning of the year, first half of the year, he has not been the same since. And I don't know if he will be. We sure need him to be. He's sure an X factor going into these playoffs. You know what I mean? What up, bro? He's an X factors going into these playoffs, but
Profit, profit,
you know,
profit. I don't know if you've been here when I said this statement before. Doc Rivers will never play a center or a true power forward with the Joel Embiid. Never. I will give you any dollar amount you want to look back at any film over the last 3 years. He refuses to put a true power forward or true center on the court with Joel Embiid. Ever. He will never do it. Never. He will never, ever, ever do it. We've been screaming that Paul Reed should possibly get some minutes with the starters for 2 seasons now. He should,
yeah,
because the energy he brings, the fact when Embiid is just in his groove at the elbow, when Embiid's doing pick and pops at the top of the key, when we don't have a big in the paint, Paul Reed will be the perfect person to just say, "Yo, go just grab rebounds."
that's it.
Doc Rivers will never ever do that.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
don't
one.
understand why.
I'm gonna tell you one thing for sure, two things for certain. For the Sixers to get past this second round in the playoffs, it's going to take Doc getting out of his comfort zone. He's going to have to do some things that he hasn't done all season. Because the
No, no, no,
the
no, no. I'm sorry, Carl. I hate when I cut you off, but it's like
you
certain
you
words in
love
your.
it.
No, seriously, I'm being serious with you. Certain words in your statement, I just want to correct. So say that again, and I'm gonna stop you where I want to stop you.
I feel like Doc is going to have to do some things that he has not done this season.
That's where I want to stop you. In his coaching career,
Possibly. Yep.
he has to stop thinking he's coaching in the '90s. It's just different.
It's
You're not
different.
going to go into a game with a game plan and everything works the way you think it's going to work. Things change throughout the course of a basketball game. You have to coach each game at a 4 minute increments. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that I'm some basketball guru, but I played basketball my whole life. And I know that one thing for sure, every 4 minutes has to be coached differently than the 4 minutes prior. You have to coach in 4 minute increments. Things are going to change every 4 minutes in an NBA game. And
You got to change with it.
in the playoffs, it might be 3 minutes. In the
Right.
playoffs, it might be three where you have to reevaluate your game plan. I'm not saying change it, but you have to make little tweaks, little adjustments in order to win games. I,
Starting
I
with
have not
starting
seen that from him since he's been in the Sixers locker room, and it pisses me off, dog.
starting with who we're playing. You know, if it's Brooklyn, Doc is really going to have to sit down and look at that, look at the tape, look at the structure of their lineup, and go off that and apply a starting lineup for them. It's going to have to go game by game, minute by minute. If that don't work, next game try something else. And you know what I'm saying? I just want to see him tweak it a little bit because we can't win off of sheer talent alone.
Not in
We
the
can't.
playoffs, baby. Not in the
We can't
playoffs.
because everybody's talented in the playoffs. Everybody, you're playing the top of the
Everybody's
top.
talented. Everybody's talented as well as every game is different. If we beat a team by 30 in the first game of the playoffs, I guarantee you that the things we succeeded at in that 48 minutes will not be the same things we succeed in the next 48. It won't. Coaches just coach to what they just saw. We got to
Right,
see somebody at least 4 times, max 7 times.
right,
They making adjustments every single game. Every
right,
game.
right. You know, with that said, y'all, tough game
Damn, that was
tonight.
30 minutes.
30. Just chopping it up with
That
my
was
man.
30. That was 30 minutes. I swear
Just,
I didn't realize that was 30. Damn, my bad.
it's cool. Just chopping it up with my man. We have another game tomorrow. who will play as far as our starters. We'll let y'all know before the game. But I'll tell you one thing: the change going to start in practice. These guys
What?
have to. It has to
Practice?
start in
We're talking about
practice. Man.
practice?
Absolutely, it has to
I,
start in
I know we
practice.
I know we're at the 30-minute mark, Carl, but
But go
Carl,
ahead.
this team has played 2-3 against us for 3 straight seasons, and we still have obviously not practiced how to beat the 2-3. So why all of a sudden we gonna start practicing?
We just need to practice.
I just don't
Uh,
understand. The same zone for 3 straight years
I
is
know,
literally,
I know,
oh my God, it
I
hurts
know,
the fuck out of me,
I
dog.
know, I know. And you know, not only just the same zone we haven't been able to get past, the defensive lack of defensive rotation from us against this team, a lack of rebounding against this team, even though we're a bigger team than them. You know what I mean? It's mind-boggling. But we have a game tomorrow, so we'll shake this
Who
loss
we play
off.
tomorrow?
I don't fucking know, BG.
I'm gonna look real quick. Hold up. Let's tell them who we play at least. At least let's do our job. At least half do our job.
Let's do it. Let's do
We
it.
had terrible energy. Oh, we got the Hawks. We got the Hawks tomorrow.
Which is a good game to get our ish back together if we play
We ain't gonna, I
for
don't think we're gonna
starters.
play. You know why I don't think
Nah,
we're gonna play, Carl? I don't know if you saw if you watched the entire game, but when they interviewed Doc at the top of the fourth, end of the third, he said, let's just take our hats off to Miami. They got something to play for and they playing hard. Oh, so you saying we don't
did you
got
hear
nothing
that?
to play for? I
Did
don't
you hear
like
that?
that, dog. It's
Did
it's
but BG, we're gonna go back to my statement in the beginning of the pod. I do not think the Sixers came to play this game, bro. I do not think that. I think they came out just to trot along, no injuries. Let's just go out here,
okay.
finish this
So here we
season.
go. Here we go. Here we go. Last question. I know we at the 32-minute mark. Last question for you, Carl.
Mhm.
This team need rest or they need to play right now? 2 games left. Do they need rest or they need to play? Can I answer
They
first?
need to play. They
Okay.
need to play.
Thank you.
They,
We get a
they need
week
to play.
off. We're the 3 seed. We get to watch the freaking after our last game. We don't play again for a week. Rest then.
That's easier for us to say. We're not the organization. So obviously from tonight's performance, they're thinking differently. They're
You ready?
already
You
in the
ready?
playoff.
You ready?
Let's go.
We sit against the Hawks. We sit against Brooklyn. We have a week off. We will lose by 20 game one. We'll
Mm,
win the
mm,
series, but we will
yeah.
lose game one by 20 points.
Why did you think?
Remember, I said this on April 6th. Remember,
Okay.
BG said this. I'm not wishing bad on my team. I hope I'm wrong. But the way this team looks, all rest is going to do is make them. I'm not relaxing, Greg. What am I relaxing about? It's
Because
April
he
6th.
no
It's
no
April
no
6th.
no
I don't.
he has faith that his man PJ is going to drop 20 points a game in the playoffs. With that being said, look up at the top of the screen. You will
I
notice
don't
that
want to get
we are
off. I don't want to get off.
we
We could
are
stay.
on
I could stay here all look.
we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Look at my man.
iHeartRadio,
We bought that money
Facebook,
on 23rd Street. He said, "All
Twitter,
right, you stand on it."
Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. We depend on word of mouth advertisements. So, BG, what we need people to do, baby.
Hey man, don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the East Leaf Sixes podcast. Please follow, like, comment, subscribe. Just get down with us. You see, we interact with the fans. I don't want to call y'all fans. Y'all not fans. Y'all are family.
Y'all family.
We interact with the family that's in the chat all show. We like to have y'all on. Half the people that's in the chat has been on this panel and stood in front of the screen and debated with us. So man, tell people about us, man. Look, we ain't the biggest, we ain't the baddest, but we the most loyal. We the most loyal. We're gonna grow this thing together as a family. So don't forget. And if you didn't understand that in English, Misco Telemundo,
Hmm.
no te olvide,
No
a
te
decirle
olvides. A decirle
a un amigo
a una amiga.
que la diga
Da la diga.
a un amigo
A un amigo.
que la diga.
Da la diga.
Que la diga.
Na de le diga.
No, it,
Na na
a,
de
una,
le diga.
a una amiga. Hey man, we'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Pre-game. Again, don't think that I'm feeling down and out. It's just, man, I'm I'd rather go into the playoffs feeling more confident, and I'm just not as confident, but it's still ride or die. I'm gonna ride this shit till the wheels fall off, man. Let's go Sixers, man.
With
See y'all.